There's only a white circle around mine. Here, I'm going to put you on screen. Whoa.
You have to change the.
Yeah.
Oh, it says live.
It says live.
Yeah, it does. We're
Awesome. We're live.
You have to change the.
Yeah, and I see it.
Okay, there we go.
Oh my heck.
It actually went live on time. Does it show live on your side?
No.
Oh my
No.
gosh.
It's still
That's
spinning.
so
I don't
funny.
show live on my page though. This is like the craziest journey adventure of broadcasting.
Mm, yeah.
So we're live on Righteous Rebels. Is that what I'm understanding?
You're live on your page right now.
Oh,
Yep.
wow. That's so fun because I didn't show that on my page. Now it does. Refresh, refresh. Oh my heck. I was just noticing that the screen has a bit of a fog to it. And the reality is that's the sunlight coming in. And I'm not going to get up and close the thing. This is live and unscripted. And I'm enjoying the sunshine. So, hey, welcome to a special edition of Live and Unscripted along. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Unscripted. Live and
Scripted.
Unscripted along with
Creative Unraveling.
with your host, Jennifer spelled JJ, and
Leah spelled Ligia.
you know what, Leah? I think it's hilarious. We've been doing some work with. It says we can't start the broadcast on time. Are we still showing live?
You're still live on your page.
That is
and
so
I think
absolutely
on YouTube as well.
So absolutely crazy because here it's showing nothing now other than to tell me to try again.
Just leave it be.
We're okay, we're good. So remember when we end, we've got to go actually start the broadcast
and then end it.
And then hopefully we can end it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it's live on YouTube as well.
Okay. Hi, YouTube. So great to have you here. Hi, if you're coming from my personal page. And probably, we're not sure. Are we broadcasting? It says we're broadcasting to the Righteous Rebels page, which is typically where we host this podcast, broadcast, whatever it is. But again, due to some technical errors, we've been going to this is so much fun. Navigating technology. Do I need to close that window? Like, is it really causing an issue?
It's a little faded, but I think it should be okay.
All right.
Enjoy the sunshine then.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. This is probably a call. I just need to take the number because I will need to call him back.
Of all the times.
Of all the times, exactly. Oh my gosh. This is live. This is life. And this part of what we do here is we really try to navigate the interruptions. I didn't know I had my volume up. But we normalize being human. We normalize like this is living, baby. And sometimes shiz happens and technology happens or a phone call that you maybe need to take happens. And that it's okay. It's okay. It's life. It's life. We're coming to you special edition today because I'm in the States and Leah's in Canada. And so we're just going to do a short little broadcast because in good practice of staying in practice and showing up for ourselves and showing up for you and learning how to deal with hiccups and just continuing to move forward. So, Leah, do you have anything to say about that?
You were just going back to, I think you're going to make a comment about the spelt and who we're working with.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So, funny thing, Leah introduces herself the way she does, and I always think it's cute. And my cousin, Corey, who also has a live and unscripted podcast, and which is hosted over at The Righteous Rebels and also on therighteousrebels.com /
Oh, you're talking about the interview you had with him.
yeah, he's
Okay.
got a live and unscripted interview, and you can go watch that. But I was trying to be funny one day, and he goes, "It's Jennifer spelled JJ."
Well, because you
Because
would say Jen's or Jennifer spelled and then spell your whole name.
yeah, which wasn't very funny. I thought it was funny, kind of, but it wasn't really that funny. Um, so Corey gave us a really cool and kind of funny way to spell it. So I grew up being called Jay or JJ, and so I'm appreciative of that. But in that same line of thinking, we've been working, doing a project with music and some songwriting, and that will come to you soon. But the fellow we're working with, his name is Jeff. We call him Jeff, but it's Jeff for, I can't remember if it's Jeffrey or Jefferson. It's Jefferson.
Jefferson, Buford.
Buford. We call him Buford. Anyway, I didn't know this because he'd sent the message to Leah, but he signed off as
Jefferson spelled Jefferson. So I just thought it was so funny. I said to Jen, it seems like I'm starting a trend here with this spelled Lija thing.
I love it.
It's funny. Jen, I was looking for Corey's podcast to put in the comments, and I came across the lemonade conversation we had that was actually a year ago tomorrow.
What?
Legit.
We were talking about that before we got on live, because I was sharing some ideas that I had about things we could talk about, and Leah's like, we did a lemonade one like sometime a year ago ish, and it was, oh my gosh,
legit, the 21st. So it's so funny that theme is come back into presence and kind of gonna segue into what we're talking about today.
I absolutely love the serendipitousness of that. And again, the different levels and layers of learning that come with that it's back in presence. Before we get started though, we always start off with breathing. This is a broadcast where we let inspiration be the guide. A lot of times we'll have a guest that we're interviewing. A lot of times we don't really know that guest, and which makes it super fun and super nerve-wracking at times. But it really lends to the allowing humanness to appear and letting inspiration be the guide. Those conversations, like 99% of the time, turn out absolutely beautiful. There's these just yummy, real, raw nuggets of information that come out from those. And when it's just Leah and I, we kind of do the same thing. We don't really plan it out. We're like, well, I had this thought as a possibility, and we share. And as far as Creative Unraveling goes, it's the process of talking things out as Leah's teaching us to paint. So I love the opportunity that we have to bring the two broadcasts together today and talk about. Evidently, we're going to talk about lemonade stands and maybe some vulnerability and how that lends to creativity and how we're always in a creative state. And how we treat other people can lend to the vibe or the intensity of the vibe of creativity inside of them. So before we get going, we always start with a bit of breathing, just taking a moment to pause, to let go of anything that's happened in the day. And for me, it's only 8:30. So there's not a ton, and to let go of whatever we think is going to happen in the day. So we're just going to breathe today, because honestly, we haven't talked about it. Leah's given the reminder. Hand on heart is such a beautiful thing. Feel the energy, feel the heat exchange between your heart and your hand and the connectivity of energy. And we're going to invite you to do it with closed eyes or downward gaze, whichever feels most comfortable for you. I'm going to invite you to just breathe deeper today and just notice and recognize what you feel or recognize any thoughts that want to move in and out, and just acknowledge them without the best you can, without judgment. Just acknowledge the thoughts that want to move in and out, and then bring yourself back to this moment, focusing on your breath. We're going to do it for about only 30 seconds. 60 feels like long today when we're just on dead space. So let's go about 30 seconds, and we'll do that now. So closed eyes or downward gaze. I invite you to breathe a little deeper than you normally would, all the way down into your pelvis, your sit bones, really filling your stomach and your lungs. So I love these just simple quiet moments, and I invite you to take them as many times in the day as you need, simply as a practice of slowing down, of just pausing for a moment and taking some big deep breaths. There's a lot of science and health information that comes through. In fact, it's one of the 9 tenets of health, foundations of health, is air and breathing, and so many health benefits for just pausing and breathing. We need to just do Leah, a broadcast on that one day, in itself. But just this is your invite to pause. Many times you find yourself wanting to go to worry or in stress or crunchy brain, just pause, put your hand on your heart, and just breathe for 30 to 60 seconds, and just feel it deeper. Let your heart slow down. I always do that. Let your heart slow down. Let your mind slow down. Let them, I know, let them come into coherence, and just see what happens. And then, it might just inspire you to graduate into other faucets of breathing practice. And there's a lot of those as well. So with that, let's jump into today's conversation. It's going to be a little bit shorter today. Just we've got other commitments, and we're just squishing this one in a little bit unexpectedly, again, so that we can honor ourselves, and stay in integrity to what we say we're going to do for ourselves, and also for you as that practice and that guide, and modeling, like, even if you don't know what the heck it is, or it's going to be shorter than normal, that you just do the thing. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, Leah, what are your thoughts? Like, what, I know we talked about a couple of things. Do you have something that feels like it just is wanting to come out through you?
I was thinking about your lemonade stand story, and I think just the relation of how much of an impact small gestures can make on a person. I think that for myself, when I go out, I try to just like find things to compliment people on, because one, it catches them off guard. Two, it always brings this like joyful smile. I went through a phase of like just handing out stickers randomly. I would carry this little gift bag, and I had a bunch of like inspirational or just like encouraging stickers, and I would just, give them out, and just how much joy that brought people, and so unexpected. And it was one of my favorite things. I feel like I've gotten away from that a little bit. But we still do that, like in lines for Dutch Bros or whatever. So, because there's just an appreciation factor, and just, it's so neat to connect with people that way, and
Yeah.
shift their day. So I'd love you to share your lemonade story, though.
Okay. Like the most recent one.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things to do is, I'm a solid, firm believer in visiting little kids' lemonade stands. Uh, it's such a simple thing to do, and so it can be so tender of an experience. And I think back to like my own youth and the ways that I came up with to be entrepreneurial or, create uh, income and money in my world. And I did similar things. I'm sure we had many lemonade stands. I don't really remember those as much. My first one is remembering jawbreaker sales. We can talk about that another day. But yesterday, I woke up from a nap and I looked out my window, and what did I see right across the street? So I live near a park, across from a park, and there was a table and two little kids and a big old sign that said lemonade 50 cents. And I was like, in my groggy state, I was like, okay, where's my wallet? And I'm gonna go support these kids. So I always get a little nervous because they're kids these days. They're so brazen. I actually get concerned for them because they like jump out into the street to get attention from cars and people going by. And so I went out and my wallet was in the car, and they see me leave my house, and so they start lemonade 50 cents. And I'm still groggy and I'm making my way to the car, and I pull my wallet out and I walk across the street, and I hear them say, kind of under their voices to each other, "What's she doing?" And I said, "I'm coming to see you." And they're like, kind of like, "Oh, she heard us." And I said, "I'll take 2 glasses, please." And they're like, "Oh, okay, awesome." And I asked them, "How long are you going to be here? How long have you been out here? How long are you going to be here? Because if you can stay this long, then this park fills up with people because there's a baseball game every night." Although last night, I don't think there was a baseball game. And I felt bad that I had given them that information.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So sorry, kids, if you see this. I was well intentioned. Um, Anyway, so they're filling up my glasses. We're having this little conversation. I'm asking them their name. And you know what's funny is I feel a hesitancy to ask them their name, based off just some of the atmosphere of the world these days. And then I thought, no, like it is harmless to ask them their name. So we talk for a minute, and as I'm leaving, I pay them my dollar for the lemonade, and then I give them a tip, and I give them each an extra dollar, which is nothing for me. Like it's not that big of a deal. And but it is to them. And I just put it down. I said, here's a little extra to get you going. And as I'm walking across the street, my back is turned to them. I'm happy because I have 2 glasses of lemonade in my hand, and and I can hear their conversation, and they're talking to each other, and they're just like, wow, wow. And the little boy goes, "We're rich." And my heart swelled. And the little girl's like, "Well," but they're like, "This is cool." Like, and as I walked into my house, my own heart happy with my 2 glasses of lemonade, and I'm sipping and I'm thinking, that's pretty good lemonade. Like, and thinking, how easy was that to make somebody's day or to help get them started? And this goes to the creativity piece of what we work to create, and how easy it is to help someone raise their vibe in what they're doing, whether you're doing it through a compliment or you're doing it through buying their services, or you're giving them extra because you see the value in what you're doing. You acknowledge. Yeah. Absolutely.
I just feel like we need so little encouragement, and we can, especially when you're putting yourself out there, it can be very vulnerable. It can be very like, is anyone going to come? And you start questioning yourself. Like, you were so excited to do the thing, but you actually get out there, and it's not like, the rushing hordes that come to your, whatever it is your business is. And it can be really discouraging. But just to have that one person make a comment or give you a little boost, or like just even acknowledge that you're doing something brave is we need so little encouragement, and to give that is really nothing.
Okay, that reminds me. Thank you. It's so true. And just to finish that thought process is I thought, if I'm wanting to create this in my own world, I've got to be willing to create it and give it in spaces to other people, so that it's that exchange and that continuous like circle of giving and receiving. Um, you talk about how little I had a lot of experiences yesterday actually where these little things just like felt so amazing and big, and whether I was receiving it or giving it. I had another experience where I went through a restaurant drive-through, and I gave the cute gal who was serving me stickers and a little drink card, and to watch again the acknowledgement, like, wait, you actually see me, you're doing, she's like, what's this for? And I'm like, because you're here and you're helping me, and I appreciate that. And um it's so big, and it takes very little effort on our end. So that was really kind of a big thing for me yesterday. And I'm helping with the Grit League series, and I was by the climbing wall, and yesterday a 2-year-old, this cutest little 2-year-old girl, is climbing the wall with her mom, who had another baby attached to the front of her, and she's climbing the rope and the wall, and you get to the apex of it, and it's kind of tricky to get over because the rope kind of is into the wall, and you're trying to reach over, and this cute little 2-year-old is like stretched out, and she's reaching. I'm like, just reach your hand over, and she's reaching, and she's grabbing hold of things. And on her third time around, I mean, she's tired. She's done this thing, like, she's now climbing this wall 3 times, and she gets a little tired and harder to do the thing and get her leg over. And I said, oh my gosh, you're so brave. You're just so brave. And I said, you're so strong. Like, look at you. You're so strong. And she gets herself over the wall, and she holds my hand for a second as a confidence marker to get her leg over. Then I put her hand on the wall, and I say, this will be easier to hold the wall. I'm still here.
Yeah.
And she gets over, and her little tiny 2-year-old voice says, I don't know if I can say it. It's going to make me cry. She says, I'm so brave and I'm strong. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And her mom's standing behind me. We're having this moment. And this cute little 2-year-old is like teaching us lessons of returning the encouragement and showing how much it helped her. And then I said, and you're smart too. And she says, and I'm smart. And this cute boy comes to the top of the wall. He's making his way over, and he goes, and she's probably kind too. I was like, do you know what, buddy? You're right. And they get off the wall, and they're going down the thing, and he looks at her and he says, you're doing such a good job. Let's go. Like, it was the most tender moment. And it was the smallest things of acknowledgement. And I think that was just like a theme in my world yesterday of like, when we're creating things, we're so amazing at judging and criticizing. And a lot of times we're doing that because we're not doing that stuff in our own lives. So we're judging ourselves, and we're criticizing ourselves, and we're tearing ourselves down. And so we have a tendency to like put it out there to other people. I'm guilty of this. Like, I'm so guilty of this. But just the recognition of what you said earlier, of it takes the smallest things to like really boost our confidence. You have to take over.
Okay. I just love that story, and we talked about that a few times yesterday, and I just love how exciting that was. But I think we're so good at encouraging littles, and we forget that we still carry our littles with us in our grown-up bodies. And just that moment of being seen and acknowledged, and just that you're not alone. Like, so often we can feel alone in this experience of life. And it's hard to be vulnerable at times because you don't know if it's safe. And I think, at the core, we always want to feel safe. We want to have some semblance of safety, to be able to move through our world. But if our own internal dialogue has turned to destruction. We're in a fear state, we're in a primal state versus a creation state where we're powerful and we feel like things are possible, and we're not so focused on like our limits and what's wrong and replaying those things in our minds all the time. That little tidbit that you share with someone, or that being seen, can reframe a negative thought loop, right? It can totally shift someone's day and someone's energy. And then the beautiful part of that is like there's a ripple effect to it. Like you share that little piece, they feel better, so they're going to serve their if they're in that, if they're serving customers or interactions with their kids or interactions with their siblings, like it's a way to pass that on and create a ripple effect. Because either way, whether it's to your your detriment or to your benefit, you're always creating.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I just
I love it. Say that
and
again.
I said I just love that story and the little voice you give her.
It was
I
so,
believe.
I do it no justice. Like, it was so just precious, and her own confidence in saying that, like, I'm brave and I'm strong, and and her mom standing right there. And what was really cool yesterday is I had several people say to me, like, wow, you're really an amazing coach, and you're really great with these kids. And um I love how you think. I had a conversation with another person, and she's like, I love how you think. I love your outlook. And she's like, you're my people, and you're the kind of people, like, you need people like you in the corner. And I looked at her and I said, I need people like you in my corner.
Right.
And I started sharing some more intimate details with each other. And just it was the little things yesterday that were these big reminders for me. We talk about this a lot, how it's not the big things. I mean, those are cool, but it's all the little things and the little reminders of, like, you're on a good path. And we talk, this also came to my mind, is we talk so much about what our purpose here is, and living our passions and doing the thing. And the reality is, our purpose on this planet is to learn how to be human. That's our purpose. And to understand what humanness is, and to learn how to feel and to experience all the things. Now, our souls may be drawn to different things. Yours may be drawn to mountain climbing. Someone else's may be drawn to art. Some may be drawn to, reading or writing or whatever it is. We're going to be, I'm going to use the word passionate about different things. But our purpose here is to be human, and to understand what that means, and all of the intricacies, but also simplicities of being human. I think we make it hard. And I'm guilty of that. But when I really get down to what is my purpose, and I remember, it's to just learn how to be, and it's to learn how to know my own heart, and to hear it, and to live it, and to speak it. Peace comes. And those creating to our benefit, or my benefit, becomes far easier when I recognize and remember that my purpose is to be. Do I have things that my soul are drawn to and that I'm gifted or talented at? Absolutely. Absolutely. But my purpose is to be.
Well, and I think part of that is like knowing yourself, understanding, where I think that's part of the understanding I'm having is like knowing myself. I thought I knew myself pretty good, but I'm getting to have different levels of what that means, and how to really learn how to be safe without needing my external environment to be safe. That I can create safety within myself, because I can navigate and understand like emotions that come up, or things that might have been triggering, or like just knowing how to move through that. But that requires knowing myself and having a level of awareness. to allow that to happen, and to also be able to talk through some of that stuff and have a greater understanding of what's happening, and what's not really me, and what's patterns wanting to play out to resolve itself. And one of the things I love I love that you say is it's up because it wants to be seen.
Oh
Like
man, yeah.
that. We're getting to.
When you say it's up, explain what you mean. Like, because I do say that, but what do you mean for someone who's unfamiliar with that statement? Like, what is the it? It's up.
So it could be like an uncomfortable feeling, any kind of discomfort, whether it's a memory or an emotion, like just something that you feel in your body. It's like there's nothing wrong. It's that there's something coming up in you that wants to be seen and acknowledged, and so it can move through you. It makes me think of like animals, that they go chasing after things, or they've been chased by something that's trying to eat them, and it creates a lot of anxiety and like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. But they work through that energy, they'll kick, they'll roll around, like they move that energy out of them. But I feel like I don't feel like I know we haven't been taught how to do that for ourselves in our bodies. And we get stuck in our mind, and we look at that as more danger instead of recognizing it's just energy trying to move through. Yeah. Did I explain that well?
I think there were a lot of thoughts there. But yeah, I like the piece of, we can move things through, but our bodies are the slowest things to learn things, which is why I love doing coaching or teaching or doing what we do, because about bringing people back to themselves, to really know and to feel their hearts and be able to express it, and to really have love for self. And I am always getting this on new levels. Like, I get to a point where I'm like, oh, I think I know this pretty well. And then I get a practice ground for a new level or a new layer. And it's always shifting and changing. And I have moments where I want to judge that. And I have moments where I'm like, hello, you know how this game works. Like, just relax into this, let it unravel. I'm really learning the game of surrender as far as emotions and things like that go, and what we're wanting to create, and allowing that inspiration and co-creativity with higher power, versus me just trying to get in and make it happen, which is what I've been taught in the past. But I know something different. My heart knows something different. But sometimes my body wants to, like, it doesn't want to play along. And so I love that we, in what we do, create physical experiences for people to move the body and allow the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings to like move through the body, and like kind of speed up that process. That's a whole nother, we can talk about that later. But I really appreciate that you bring that up. And when you feel something in your body, like, pay attention. It's trying to get your attention, and not your attention in the way that, when we scold a child, we're giving them attention. And a lot of times they will continue to act out because they're at least getting your attention. Or adults will do this. They'll do stupid things, maybe a lot unconsciously, but they're getting your attention. So if you've got something going on in your body, give it attention, but give it some good attention. Love it, recognize it, talk to it, let it know that you're aware, and ask it what it's wanting to teach you.
It feels so foreign though, Jen. Like, you say
Absolutely.
those things, and because we've been in that conversation, but you've never been taught that. Like, I was never
Absolutely.
taught that. I knew something different than when I was living, but I never had languaging for what that actually meant. And it's just been a whole different journey of and level of self-awareness to look at it that way, and then it doesn't stay. It's like
right? It doesn't stay, or it doesn't stay as long.
Well, I think the best example for me that really brought that more into awareness is like I've had asthma my whole life, and part of that, I've talked about it before, but like part of that is when I'm going into a situation where I feel like I can't use my voice, or I feel I have to show up a certain way to make the other people around me more comfortable. Like I feel restriction, and I feel like there's no environment, because I have environmental and cat triggers and some food stuff, but like there's none of those triggers, and there's, nothing's changed. And then I have to like check in offers as often. I don't give it that much attention, but just recognizing, oh, this is where I really have to pay attention and use my voice, or this is where I have to check in. Am I doing this because I'm trying to make someone else feel better, or am I doing this because it's authentic to how I want to show up? So
I really appreciate that thoughtfulness. Thoughtfulness. It also, I was trying to go back and remember a thought that I had as you were talking earlier. It's like a recognition that you had. We've been talking about this, but because I was trying to listen, I didn't hang on to it. Oh my gosh. I don't remember, but you have an appointment at 9?
Yeah, shortly.
11? So we're going to just end this by just kind of bringing it back full circle of a beautiful part of creativity is vulnerability and being willing to put yourself out there. And the kindness and the love we want to give to other people or withhold is what we're giving or withholding to ourselves. And so those little acts of service, of like giving someone a sticker or stopping at their lemonade stand, do that for yourself first. Do that for yourself. Or maybe, recognize that you did it for someone else and ask yourself, when's the last time I did that for myself? Like, when's the last time I sat down and I said, let's look through a picture book, read a silly story, or sit down and color a picture or paint a picture. When's the last time I actually gave myself a little act of service? Maybe it's taking a hot bath, or maybe it's just a moment of quiet reflection or breathing, introspection. Like, ask yourself that, but remember to give sitting still. Absolutely. Which, if you're not accustomed to that, it's really disconcerting and unnerving to begin that practice. And I feel you. Like, if that's a space you're in, I feel you. I still have moments of, I feel you. It's taken me some time to learn how to just, in fact, it's taken me a lot of time. And sometimes I'm really good at it, and I still have moments of not being so good at it. But I'm grateful that I took the time, that I gave that to myself first, because it's really assisted in the space of learning that I'm in now, and the next layer and level of owning who I am, and my really grasping and owning my lived experience, and that my purpose is actually to just be here and learn how to be human, and to teach you how to do the same. Maybe not even teach you, give you examples and stories and experiences that you can take from if you choose to. And that, again, just the part of creativity is you've got to do that for yourself first, and then do it for other people.
Yeah. I love how you brought the idea of vulnerability into that. It's because it is vulnerable. It's so easy to just continue to do what we're automatically conditioned to do, what we've trained our nervous system to do. But to really step out and do something different it is bold, and it is brave, and it is vulnerable.
Right. And if you need to, get your cute little kid voice on and tell yourself, I am brave, I am strong, I am smart, and I'm kind.
Yeah. And
Just
maybe
remember
that's your act of service, is like reminding what you are, like the truth of what you are.
the truth of what you are. And you know what? I recommend putting yourself in front of a mirror and looking yourself in the face and really seeing yourself. Like look yourself in the eyes and really see yourself and say those things and just see what happens. It's unnerving at first and it's scary and you may have all kinds of stories and things that want to come up, but those things are coming up because they're ready to be dealt with so that you can move forward and you can stand stronger in who you are and in your humanness and your beingness.
My gosh, that makes me want to go into the whole tangent of lighter and heavier, and we
Right?
could just keep going.
So many things. So you can look forward to that in a different conversation. But for today, thanks for giving us space to show up for ourselves and to show up for you. And hopefully you found some yummy nuggets from today's conversation. And if you are in a space where you need a reminder that you're brave and you're strong and you're smart and you're kind and you're whatever it is, fill in the blank, reach out. Reach out and let us assist you. We have tools. Or come join us in our activities. Life has a funny way of planning itself. What's that quote? You make plans and then life happens. So that's kind of a situation that we're in right now, and we're in different countries. But so some of the things we may have had planned will look differently, or they'll just be pushed to a different date. But we're still here for you, and you can reach out and let us assist you in whatever ways we can assist you. And until then, remember that we love you. We appreciate you and how you show up on the planet and the gifts and the magic that you bring.
Yeah, I love it.
Any last thoughts?
Just remember you're constantly creating, and just what you can add to the world when you really embrace that idea and practice in that idea that you're constantly creating, and what can you bring to life with your own creativity.
I love it. So remember, oh, go ahead. Oh, wait, did you have more?
No, it makes me think of the magic that we can literally create magic. It just makes me want to go on to all sorts of tangents, but
Right? I know. It's so like, yeah. And I have to say, there's time constraints here, Jen. Like there's time limits today. There's boundaries. Honor the boundaries.
okay.
Honor the boundaries. So with that, we'll look forward to next week for the Live and Unscripted podcast and the Creative Unraveling Paintcast. Again, things are going to get to show up differently because there's some things that are showing up in our lives differently, somewhat unexpectedly and yet beautifully. So we'll look forward to seeing you next week on our podcast. Until then, remember, be bold,
Be brave, be a
rebel. All right. And now we get to have the joy of figuring out how to actually end this broadcast, because I'm going to push the start button over here and see what happens. And hopefully I'll get an end button. So hang out, like enjoy the show, eat a little more popcorn if you want to, while we figure out how to actually end this thing. Okay. We're hitting go live. See what happens. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, we're actually getting a live button. What? And now we're live. We're live. It's so amazing.
So dumb.
All right. I know. You guys have an amazing, what day is it? It's Thursday. Have an amazing Thursday. Leah's favorite day of the week.
Yes.
And today, notice the magic that you're making and then put more of it out into the world for yourself and for others. Love you. See you soon.